All right, let's get started. Ladies, a welcome. I'm so honored to share this space with you and to hold space just for you and your vision, not just for the year ahead, but for the long game, sisters, for the long game, the big hoo-ha. Like, what's going on? What do you want? This is all for you, and I'm just so grateful. So I want to really impart that upon you. Thank you so much for spending time with me on this Thursday evening. I can't believe it's the first new moon of 2021. Like, where's my flying car anyways? I think it'd be easier to park a flying car in New York than not. So, okay. So make sure that your phones are on silent. And if you have anything that you'd like, your notebook, your tea, your crystals, oils, anything that you feel called to work with or to hang out with this evening, just make sure that they're nearby. And most importantly, make sure that you're comfortable. And kind of my intention for holding this class tonight is that I've been finding a lot in my life, those that I'm working with are women who are feeling stuck or feeling like there has been something nagging at them that they're ready to change, and they are intimidated to step into that change. Perhaps you feel trapped in a day-to-day life that isn't feeling fulfilling, but you can't decipher exactly what will satisfy you, or for that matter, exactly where to start. And I totally get it. I totally know what that feeling is like. It's like, oh, fuck. like, can you just drop a golden anvil in front of me and be like, this is where you're going? And I think part of that magic and part of that understanding is that you probably have multiple dreams. So it kind of comes across as like, what do I prioritize? What's most important to me? And we're going to dive into that in my 5 secrets, because that's definitely something that I've learned that has helped me to be like, okay, cool. This is where I'm facing right now. And this is what's most important to my happiness right now. So I want you guys throughout this call to feel free to drop into the comment box and get as vocal or ask any questions as you would like to. Just drop them right in there. And you're in the right place if you're an empath, which I know y'all are, with multiple dreams. I also know this to be true about y'all. And tonight I'm going to share my 5 secrets to realizing your dreams and trusting yourself along the way. In case you don't know me, I'm recording this, so if you're watching the replay, my name's Christina Santiago. I'm a coach and owner of Exist Brightly. I've been a former tattooer. I've been a burlesque troupe beginner and artist, and following my dreams and having big feelings is just in my DNA. It's just who I am. And I used to find myself getting stuck and kind of reactive when it came to change. I would want something, but I would feel like there was no way I could possibly get there. It always seemed like it was like, what is going on? It's like, it felt so far away. And I remember that feeling specifically when I decided to learn how to tattoo. I had never been an artist ever. I had never been an artist, but I had always craved a more artistic career. I wanted that freedom. I wanted to be able to like make my own hours, do what I kind of just like wanted to live life a little bit untethered from a very systematic day-to-day job. It just, that lifestyle doesn't fit for me. And I was lucky to know that very young. But I remember when I was like, okay, I am going to learn how to tattoo, there was a huge voice in my head that was like, girl, there is no fucking way. You can't even draw a stick figure. And I'm talking like that was the truth of it. I didn't know who I was to have that dream. I didn't know where it came from or why I felt drawn to it beyond just the career aspect. There was something else in me, like, this is a part of you. This is a part of who you're meant to be. And I think upon like retrospective, I am very much like, your dreams are what make you. They're what make you who you are. They're your character. They're your personality. They're the pieces of you that make you whole. So it's so vital that you recognize and honor and just love the dreams that you have. And it took some time, but eventually I built a career and a brick and mortar business with my husband in coastal California, which had also been a dream of mine. Totally crazy. There was no way I could ever believe that I would be able to make any of those dreams a reality. And it's only years later that I've really mastered a strategy that helps me to realize my dreams and trust myself along the way. And that's exactly what we're here to do tonight. A few of the other dreams that I have realized is moving from Florida to California, which required me to leave a very tight-knit family and start out on our own, starting a burlesque troupe with some gal pals in Olympia, Washington, which is still rocking to this day. Tush Burlesque, y'all, like they're just on fire. Yeah, I love them. I love them. Experiencing RV life, which we had to sell our brick and mortar and downsize to an RV. This was in 2019. Stepping out of an established and fun career to create my own online coaching business so I could feel more impactful and more present in my day-to-day. And this was just in late 2018, 2019. And literally yesterday we arrived in Brooklyn, which was something that had been seeded late teens and just a few years ago in 2017 when I did my first guest spot here. So it's part of my ritual because I truly believe that your dreams are who you are. And the more you turn away from them, because they do feel scary, they do feel intimidating. When you're in that space of discomfort of like, I'm not happy where I am, but I don't have the exact clarity on what I want. It's like, it just eats away at you. So it can take it requires some deep self-love and attentiveness to choose to honor that growth, to honor that change that's occurring. So yeah, I'm a big dreamer, I'm a big feeler, and I have learned how to live a purpose-filled life by realizing my dreams, and I know that you can too. So before I dive into sharing my 5 secrets with you, I want you to just close your eyes for a second, come into this space, take a really luscious, deep breath. If you need to shake your arms out or stretch out, feel free to. I just want you to like release the day. Release what you, and big air quotes here, release what you know about your day-to-day, about your life. And I want you to think of the dream or dreams that brought you to this class today. And maybe it's not a thing like a new car or a new home. Maybe it's a feeling, more joy, more freedom, more fulfillment, more laughter, more adventure. And maybe you can't quite put your finger on exactly what it is, but you know that something has to change. So whenever you're ready, come back into the space, open your eyes, and I want you, if you are willing and ready to drop a comment in the box, letting me know what that change is, what it is that you feel like you are being called into or called to change in your life right now. I'd love to hear what you're bringing to life just by coming into this class. I do believe that we honor ourselves, we honor our dreams just by showing up in the simplest ways, writing it in your journal, coming to a free class, speaking about it with a friend. Yes, Stacy. Oh, I love it. Traveling. I remember you posted in the group too about mountains and fresh air. I love it, love it, love it. Absolutely. So as you're dropping those comments in, whatever comes up for you, I want to just share with you something that has been really powerful learning for me as an empath and a dreamer. I was taught to dream in material things, new cars, new home, like new fancy clothes. It didn't work for me. It just didn't work. I was never motivated to go for those things. They're just not of value to me. What I learned as an empath is that I dream in experiences and emotions. That's what's important to me. Freedom, joy, abundance, fulfillment. I love, like, that is what makes my heart sing. And that's the only way that I move forward. And sure, other things come with that. Yeah, material wealth, travel, all that stuff comes with that. Absolutely. Yes, Kate, I see you here. Traveling, creativity. Colleen, change something for my career, but I don't know quite what's up or where to go. Totally hear you. Perfect place to be tonight on this sacred new moon. Yes, ladies, thank you. So does that resonate with you? This idea that we've been taught to like dream into like, oh, have the brand new car, do all those. If you're an empath and you're a big feeler, that is your sacred tool that is guiding you. And you're really, unless it's truly meant to be yours, you're more than likely not going to be triggered by material things unless you're like, oh yeah, that's the thing for me. Like that trip to Italy is like, because there's other emotional tangibles there, right? Joy, expansion. Yes, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Absolutely. So thank you so much for sharing those dreams. I absolutely appreciate each of you being so raw and honest in this space. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. My very first secret to realizing your dreams is to identify where you feel the least happy in your life right now. I always look at life as a series of layers, like a cake. So you have career, relationships, finances, home, adventure, like so many, many more. Everybody's cake is different, but you kind of have an idea of what your layers are, your most distinct layers right now. And it's super important to me that you understand where you're most unhappy or bored or lacking in fulfillment or even angry, because it's going to help polarize you. And that is super important, y'all. That is super important. You're a big feeler. You're an empath. Your feelings are your gifts and your tools. But we have so often been taught to buff out the rough edges, to kind of like put a smooth coat over everything so that we don't feel as much, because it makes it, people make it think that make us think that that's more digestible, that's how you survive. It might be how you survive. It's not how you thrive in real life. So as an empath, like I mentioned, we tend to buff off these rough edges because it can intimidate us and it can feel like too much. So the first step is articulating where you are feeling the least happy, where you want change now. Where's the one place in your life that if you woke up tomorrow morning and that was different, you'd be like, fuck yeah, life is 100% better. I'm ready to rock and roll. Like, that's the thing. Knowing where you're unsatisfied pinpoints exactly the experience that you'd rather be having. And there may be several places that you're feeling a little less than like super excited about, but trying to focus on one is going to help you move that forward. And here's the thing, having several spaces that you are like, none of this really feels great is totally okay. There's, again, like, this is we have such a multifaceted experience. It's so important that you recognize that all things are constantly in motion in our lives. All things are constantly in motion, but we're like trying to contain a ball pit without being a ball pit. We're like, yeah, we're going to hold on to all these things because it's uncomfortable to change. It's uncomfortable to grow. So feel free to drop in the comments what that one thing that is like popping up for you right now that you would wake up tomorrow morning and be like, yes, this is the one thing that I just would like be totally different. Work. Colleen, I hear you. I hear you, girlfriend. I hear you, girlfriend. And we're going to kind of walk into step 2, but feel free to drop in whatever that is like that fire under your butt tonight. Because once you identify the pain, step 2, you can clarify your desire. Tired of being stuck in the house? Yes, Kate, I hear you, girl. I know, I miss my friends. I want to like go hang out. Not enough time at the farm. Okay, cool. Awesome. So when we polarize our experience, we can literally like turn the ship around and be like, okay, cool. So I don't like this. I want more of this. Right? And you see exactly how that ties into your dreams. And as empaths, and not only empaths, but all of us are taught to avoid pain. And although that's understandable, the one biggest misfortune and mistruth with avoiding pain is that it often leads to long-term suffering. So I would rather like put my hand over a stove real quick, bam, get it, than walk over like 10 miles of hot coals. But that's what time kind of ends up feeling like when you know you're not happy with something, but you're like, I don't really want to change it because I don't want to like step into the fire. I don't want to let go yet. I'm a little bit scared. And one of the most common things that my clients come to me with is that they're just not satisfied in their lifestyles. Often they're craving something new, but they feel really attached to where they are. They've been there for a long time. They kind of have like all the stuffs, all the connections, all the friends, and it almost feels like their communities or their careers expect them to stay there forever. And lifestyle can often equate to different things. And again, like this is that idea of like different layers feeling a little bit uncomfortable. But here's the thing, a lot of the women that I work with are afraid of getting clear on how they would rather live because they know it will force them into action. And I can't tell you how many times I've ugly cried by taking the time to clarify the experience that I wanted, because it was a sacred opening. Like, oh, fuck. Like, this is real. Like, I really want this. I really want to feel this way in my life. Like, this is important to me that I live my life in integrity with these feelings and these values that I have. It's also important here that you remember that clarity might not come in the form of an object or like a distinct endpoint. It might, again, be an emotion or an experience. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's hanging out ugly crying by themselves. Yes, 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 yes. So I find that, and this is something else that I find with empaths particularly, we actually prefer confusion because clarity creates action, which can feel really fucking scary. So this is like a pattern of self-sabotaging, and this confusion, it feels actually safer. And this is kind of like, we'll go into the next step shortly, but this is a little bit about the mindset. The confusion actually feels safer than clarity because there's no room for failure. When you just are like, yeah, cool, I don't really know what to do. Like, I'm just gonna hang out for another 6 months and deal with it, despite the fact that your higher self is like, stop it. We are not doing that anymore. We're moving forward. So I just want you to like jot that note down. Confusion is a pattern, and see where you find that resonating with your dream and with your pain point too. What the pattern of confusion is there for you. I want to be clear that confusion is a form of self-sabotage and a way that limiting beliefs make their way back into your life. Finally, when you're at a place in your life where you know you need to change, you have to be bold and dig into that clarity, because that clarity, it's almost like ripping the Band-Aid off. It's like, oh, fuck, like this is what's real. This is what's real. And the whole point of this conversation and all the conversations we're having, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're connecting with me from, email, this is about recognizing your truth, recognizing who you truly are, what you authentically want to create in your life, and the many, many, many paths you can choose, having the confidence to feel bold, brave, embodied, trusting, focused, and knowing that you're able to create those dreams and realize them for yourselves. So, step number 3 is shift your mindset to empower your belief. Okay, raise your hand if you've ever thought, it's easier for her. There's no way I could do that. That was totally my thought when I started tattooing. I'm not smart enough. I hear all the time from people who want to start their online businesses, I don't have a following, or it's too late, or there's already so many other people doing it. Yeah, I could raise my hand for all those completely. So it's really key here that you understand, when you truly integrate the essence, the energy, the feeling of belief, there's like a particular vibration that you invite into your body. You are then able to craft a more spacious, abundant, joyful, adventurous, pleasurable, and fulfilling life. Things will start to shift for you. And I'm just going to like flash back real quickly. The pattern of confusion is not the key that's going to open that gate. So shifting that mindset into belief and learning how that feels in your body and learning how that resonates in your spirit and in your day-to-day is vital to trusting yourself. I'm just going to quickly share a story about my client, Kristen, who had been a marketing specialist for a company that was very regimented and stiff. And this was last year, and she had been hating her job. She just hated it. She's like creative. She wanted just a very different experience in making money. She felt underappreciated, uninspired, and she knew she was meant for more. Like, she just knew it. Sometimes you just know it. You're just like, yeah, I can't believe there's like a piece of you that's like, I can't believe I'm tolerating this bullshit. Right? Like, I've been there. So before we started working together, she did take the first step in leaving her job. But when we started working together, she had a hard time believing that she could find a job that inspired her, paid her well, and that allowed her to work remotely. She had put in resumes and had some interviews, but nothing was seeming to line up. And she was starting to get worried because she had been dipping into her savings and kind of like, playing the like shuffle game to make sure that life was fluid and was running smoothly. And the one thing that we really worked on was this belief, because she didn't want to just settle. She didn't want to settle for another job. And that's a hard bridge to gap. The idea that it's like, okay, I can have what I want. And then, you're seeing this like, okay, well, I'm getting an interview with this company for this job and it's not quite there. And this one's not quite there. Lo and behold, over our time together, we clarified even more crisply what she truly wanted. And we built her beliefs so she could live a life and have a career that allowed her more time for herself. It allowed her to work remotely so she could downsize into an RV. She wanted a leadership position so that she could kind of put all those skills that she had garnered over the years into something that was more fulfilling, more fruitful financially, and more focused. She wanted more fulfillment, and she craved living a more intentional day-to-day life. So within a few weeks of us working together, she reconnected with an old friend who was part of a new company that happened to be looking for a marketing director. After a few interviews, she landed that position, which was a leadership position, had better pay, and is remote. In addition to that, she had several other companies reach out to her to hire her, but most importantly, a nonprofit reached out to her where now she's a part of that organization and she coordinates with them, which allows her to feel more connected and impactful in her community. Here's the thing. When Chris and I started working together, she didn't believe it was possible to have it all. She was stressed about money, she felt stuck, and she didn't have the confidence to hold fast to her dreams. And on top of that, she was also scared of having to settle. So it's this like trifecta, this cycle, right? But this is all mindset. This is all mindset. Our mindset work and coaching helped her harness the tools that allowed her to magnetize these opportunities and connections and gave her the confidence to step into the leadership position. Because I remember there was this moment where she had the interview and she's like, what if I get this job? Like, what if I get this job? Like, oh, I've put out there that I'm ready to grow. And that in itself can be intimidating. So I just love that she was able to really hone in and stay steadfast in her belief. And she landed this great position. And she also landed a nonprofit position. It just has been so beautiful to witness. By helping her learn to believe in herself, she didn't settle for something she wasn't interested in, and she did discover her perfect fit. She broke the pattern of settling for less by mastering her confidence and belief. And I just have to celebrate that one because it's totally just amazing. It's amazing to live in that space. And I'm going to be honest with you, it happens in our lifetime in cycles. Women's growth specifically is very circular. We go through these cycles. So you can kind of be like, cool, I'll be looking forward to this again in the next 5 years. Like, set your clocks, girls. Okay. Step 4, once you have identified your pain, created clarity on what you desire to experience, shifted your mindset, it's time to create a plan of action. And this is one of my favorite places to work with my clients. I love this articulation of kind of the different ways that their dreams can take shape. When they're thinking about downsizing into an RV, it's like, they're often like, where do I even start? I'm like, have a yard sale. Just like, let's put your shit out on the lawn and see how it goes. That's the first starting point. And sometimes when we start to put together the pieces of our dreams as an empath with a pattern perhaps of confusion or doubt, it can often begin to feel completely overwhelming. And this is often this can really be one of the places that breaks someone from realizing their dream, because they're just like, I cannot do all these things. I don't know which one to put first. I don't know how to prioritize what needs to come first. And this is the place where having a coach can make all the difference. It's like having an anchor to steady a rocky ship. It's like having a place to ground into through vital conversations, through self-expression, through communication. I help my clients bring those dreams into reality by helping them recognize exactly what steps will be necessary to realize their specific dreams. So yeah, downsizing into an RV is probably going to require a yard sale. And it might mean that you have to launch that side hustle so you can create a second flow of income. It's all doable when you articulate a plan that also leaves some wiggle room for universal guidance to pop in and guide you down your own true way. And that's fucking hard. That requires trust, which requires step 3, mindset, belief. Without a plan, honestly, I see a lot of people get stuck in the same space. They'll have a couple days where it's like, okay, these are good days. We're good days. I'm kind of making the movements in the direction that I want to do. But then that confusion or that self-doubt steps in, and they are all of a sudden things feel overwhelming, and they get kind of like almost energetically bogged down. They're like, I'm just going to take a couple days off. I'm going to take a couple days off from life right now, and just kind of like, and then they lose the momentum. And like, it's okay. There's no blame or shame here. But if we can formulate this sacred plan, leave that little bit of wiggle room, have that mindset and belief and confidence and trust, you are like, you're more agile, you're more versatile, your dreams are more easily realized. So when you're craving change, but feeling overwhelmed or confused on where to start, this is why a plan is vital. And another piece that comes through around the trust part is that you can't trust yourself to realize your dreams if you aren't willing to take them seriously. This is like a big part of that is self-recognition. This is a big piece of your own growth, your spiritual growth, your personal growth, your life growth, your expansion is like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm ready for this. Yeah, I'm craving this. I honor myself. I honor myself for wanting more. Like there is something to be said about the layers of our existence. That one layer is like cracking open. It's like boop, 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 boop. Like, oh my God, there's another layer. I can get up in there. Like, whoa, there's a VIP room up there. So plugging your dreams into a sacred GPS and listen to what comes through for you for your process with leaving just a hint of wiggle room. Step 5 is celebrate your results and your progress and refine along the way. You deserve to live a life that fulfills, excites, inspires, and empowers you. But what I often find with client work is that in some way, we're afraid of ourselves. We're afraid of that next level. We're afraid of that next expansion of our voice or of our dream. We're afraid of our power. There's some fear in there. And I totally understand. I sent out an email today because yesterday I had this very visceral experience driving across this bridge and seeing the New York skyline coming into view. And I feel it now, realizing like what am I doing here? Like, how did I get here? It's like the last 4 years are a total blur. And seeing that skyline was very much like, whoa. So this is why it's super important to celebrate along the way. Don't be afraid of your brilliance. And also, like, kind of the word that comes up for me when I work with my clients sometimes is resentment. There's this, it might not be a blatantly obvious thing, but it's like a little undertone with how we speak to ourselves. Oh, we should have already realized this. This should already be done. You should be better at this by now. Why isn't this working? She has it, like, there's kind of this like viciousness. There's like an attack. Let's call it an attack, self-attack methodology here. And they're often so used to feeling this way that the practice of celebrating themselves seems kind of far-fetched and goofy, which I used to feel the same way. Totally. And it's like I mentioned, when I started tattooing, all I could see was how everyone else was better than me. Hello, they were like 15 years my senior. Like, you know, but that was where my mind was like, oh my gosh, why am I even trying this? Everyone else is already so much better. Or it was like when I first started coaching and I couldn't celebrate my clients because I hadn't hit my numbers, or I didn't feel like my website was good enough, or something that was just like, there was always something that was like, oh yeah, that's cool, but this. So remember how I mentioned at the start that empaths often dream in experiences or emotions? This is a practice to celebrate and realize that. This is a way of like calibrating your intuition and your emotional gifts as like, oh my God, girl, look at you. You doing it. You know, you just made this decision. You just told this to your boss. You just booked the ticket. You just bought the RV. You know, whatever it is, like these are ways that you can applaud yourself, even if you had to take out a loan to buy the RV, or you whatever, you know, you haven't found the next career position yet. Like, it's so important that we celebrate the steps that we do take and acknowledge them. Learning to appreciate yourself and your journey as an empath as an empath, realizing her dreams will make this a more succulent experience that will excite and heal you. There's something very healing about honoring your dreams, and it's a wild and very tangible thing when you start this journey and you begin to say yes to yourself in this way. So I can't even dive into how difficult this piece of the puzzle is, and also how vital it is. One of my favorite client stories is with my friend Jules, who I tattooed in Monterey many years ago and who has in time become a coaching client with me. And she's been struggling to pass her cosmetology exam for the last few years, and she basically gave up on herself. She basically gave up on that part of her dream, part of her vision. So working through these steps together, this was like the hardest one for her to accept. She struggled with self-worth, and she had a hard time believing in herself, which then limited her dreams and put a cap on her joy and excitement. As we started to focus on creating a ritual that gave her the space to celebrate her journey and herself, recognizing the small steps that were leading her to her dream, she really, truly started to unleash herself. She's having more fun. She's feeling braver. She's taking on more adventure. She's much more clear in what she truly wants versus kind of like being all over the place. And she has rescheduled her cosmetology exam with a plan for passing it, feeling confident in herself. Celebrating yourself, refining the process, learning to acknowledge your power and your unique path are vital to realizing your dream and trusting yourself along the way. It is the nourishment. It is the nourishment that we require to keep going. And it is the practice that will kind of put the blanket on confusion and allow you to take the role of leader once again. Say, hey, you know what? It's okay. I'm a little confused right now. I don't know exactly what to do next, but damn, did I handle last week awesome. Damn, did I show up in this class. Damn, did I go, into my journal and like get crystal clear on what I want next. Like, yeah. So it's a vital, vital piece to your success. Okay, friends. So these are my 5 secrets to realizing your dreams and trusting yourself along the way. Identify your biggest pain. Clarify what you would rather experience. Shift your mindset. Create a plan. Celebrate and recalibrate along the way. So we're at a place where I want to invite you to remember your dream. The first thing that popped into your head when we started this class earlier tonight, this was your feeling, your experience, a new career, more time on the farm, more travel, getting out of the house, all of those things. And here's what I want to remind you of. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to stay stuck. We are here to help you cultivate a specifically beautiful journey for you. You have the choice to do this alongside with me as your coach, your anchor, to help you realize your dreams and trust yourself even more deeply. Or you can stay in the same space that you are. I'm holding spaces this weekend for women who are ready to step into their next chapter with confidence. And for those of you who are done feeling stuck and unfulfilled. So I'm offering free 30-minute calls this weekend if you're ready to craft a more purpose-filled life by realizing your dreams, by acknowledging that you're ready for more, by honoring that inkling for growth that is within you. I'm going to go ahead and pop the link into the comment box. And if you're done with self-sabotaging, you're done with confusion, you want to get out of the space of being stuck or feeling like you don't know what's next, I want you to go ahead and click that link. And I encourage you all to just go ahead and click that link anyways, grab a time. I'm in Eastern time. And then when we log off from this call, I want you to take a deep breath, look at what you wrote down, choose that time, fill out the intake form, and let's just hop on a call. Let's hop on a call and see if I can support you in bringing you into your next chapter. You don't need to feel stuck anymore. You don't need to feel confused. You don't need to worry. You don't need to stay up at night feeling anxious. This is your time, and you are so worthy of realizing these dreams. So these dreams of yours are here for a reason. They are guiding you to your happiest, most expansive, fulfilled, and abundant you, but they will require you to show up. They will require you to show up, ladies. I want to once again, say thank you so much for sharing this space with me. Thank you so much, Colleen. I appreciate that. Stacy, Kate, it was a sheer pleasure to share space with you. Please, please, please feel free to email me if you have any questions, or if you're a little nervous about booking a call. Otherwise, hop on there, grab your seat, and let's just have a conversation. Let's just have a conversation about what's next for you. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Have a great night. Much love. Bye.